Sitting here with Preston McFadden. He is an anti-etch and granite repair trainer at Sureshine. Sureshine is a company that has offices in Orange County, California, and Dallas, Texas. Preston is located in Dallas, Texas. His specialties are granite repair, surfaces, other countertop repairs, anti-etch for marble countertops, and floor polishing, natural stone floor polishing and restoration, along with some other surfaces. So tell us a little about yourself, Preston.
Well, I've been doing this for almost 8 years now, since I was about 15. I started in California. I started kind of doing the grunt work, vacuuming and learning the floors. A lot of flooring. I did a lot of flooring. So I started from the bottom and slowly worked my way up. And then about 2017, camera's gonna focus.
It's okay.
2017, we started doing anti-etch, and Ted kind of brought me in on that process. So I've been doing it. I saw how we were developing each individual section, and I got to see. So we're having a little bit of camera issues right now. I saw how we were developing, like moving from different kinds of screens, and then the different ways we started polishing, and it kind of helped establish
build the system, right?
Yeah, the lighting system. I think I helped.
You helped in a lot of ways. I think you actually created a training system as well. You trained technicians in Orange County, 2 or 3 technicians that are still with us, and they really have relied on a lot of the methods that you created. Training system.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't say my part in it was huge, but I really enjoyed being part of it. And it's a fun process. I mean, it has a ton of steps, so it kind of keeps you on your toes, and it's creative too. So it's like sometimes you'll receive a strange backsplash. It's painted or it's tile, like it's a mosaic tile, and you've got to figure how do I tape this without the paint peeling?
Right.
So there's a lot of variability to that. I appreciate that. I like that.
Okay.
It's fun. And then I started doing granite repairs about the same time. And I think I've gotten pretty good at those, but I really like the hands-on kind of aspects of it.
Granite repairs are pretty artistic.
Yeah, and you get a lot of freedom. It's like a single-man crew, so you just go out and it's just your work. I really enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy
basically saving a counter. It's like you're like Superman. You're literally saving a counter from destruction.
Apart. Yeah, it's. When I began that process, actually, I was pretty scared to cut into the counter, because initially we just broke it. We'd take a crowbar, we'd slam it into the side, hit it with a mallet, and then pop it off. And we get these different breaks. Sometimes it splits up into 4 pieces. And then Ted actually figured. I don't know if it was Ted or.
No, it wasn't me. I mean, I did teach it to a lot of people, but Hassan and Brady, people in the Sureshine Service Network, these amazing guys that are constantly sharing information, they brought that to me, and I was able to kind of incorporate my own methods into that. But really, I can't give. I'm not the person that.
I mean, it's a large community effort.
Yeah.
Whoever figured out cutting the granite with an angle grinder.
Well,
I want to thank them for that.
That was just cutting the granite. That was figured out a long time ago. Yeah.
But that was the experience that I had the most fear going into. Like the first time you're taking an angle grinder and you're slowly lowering it out of the granite, like what am I doing? Because you can't go back from that.
Right.
At least if you crack it, you have some way to fix it. But if
fits back together like a puzzle.
Yeah. But if you're,
but how do you get rid of that line, right?
Yeah. And then I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Hassan that figured out slicing the bottom off.
Well, that was me.
That was you? Okay, yeah.
I mean, it could have been somebody else. But I was like, how am I going to... They were like, hey, you put new granite into the crack. And I said, well, how do you get it? How do you get the new granite?
How does it look flush?
Yeah, so I put a vise on my my thing and my kit, and put the piece in the vise and just ground stuff off the back, little slices. And I was able to figure out a way to basically Hassan actually hits it with a hammer. That
just mashes it in.
He gets it in there, and then he just yeah, Ted, I just bashed it in with a hammer. He's one of the best guys. He's in Northern California. He's in the Bay Area. He's probably one of the best granite repair technicians in the country.
I've seen
He takes almost all the rod out. I mean, sometimes he's not able to get to the entire rod, but we can't get to the whole rod. So we do a lot of cutting. But yeah, he sends me photos of every job he does, or most of the jobs that he does, and they're fantastic. Every one of them is just fantastic. He takes so much pride in his work. So if you have a chance to get a granite repair done in the Bay Area, Hassan's the right guy. His name is Diamond Tile Restoration. It's terrific.
It was strange. I mean, I think honestly, my beginning experience getting into the business and understanding the processes we were establishing was just figuring out the procedures.
Because they didn't exist. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Is developing a plan and developing a training system and developing a system that doesn't exist for a repair that is needed by thousands of people.
So going into that, kind of doing the testing, understanding the groundwork, and then figuring out, playing with different acrylics and different epoxies, and seeing which ones cut the best, seeing which ones take, time-wise, the least amount of time for the best results. That I wouldn't say it was a huge part of that, but I played a small part, and I really enjoyed creating that process. So I like all that.
So it doesn't matter like how. It's funny because a lot of people that have been sitting with me today and I talk to all the time. It's like everybody plays a small part. Everybody. Like as long as you're sharing your information, you're improving the entire team incrementally, and that's all that matters. We don't get. I always talk about how it takes 2,000 steps to go a mile. You have to take at least the first one. The most important one isn't the first one or the last one; it's the next one, right?
Yeah.
So we always have to be sharing our information with the team so that we can just all get better at the same time. It really helps the network, because when people are searching for granite repair technicians or anybody on the Sureshine Service Network, they're going to be able to find somebody that is always participating in the betterment of their trade. Yeah.
It's been cool to be part of the network too, and kind of I'll either, if I have questions, I'll usually reach out to you first, and then you'd be like, I don't know. This person knows that best.
Yeah.
You give them a call, and they're there to help.
And I'm like I'm like the Library of Alexandria now. I basically just be like, oh, go to that person, go to that person. Yeah.
That's a huge advantage, though. Like being able to call people.
I just wanted you to know that I just put a Library of Alexandria reference into this.
I was here for it. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't burn.
You're welcome, everyone.
But being able to go to that extent, being able to call people, have knowledge at your disposal, and actually be have people willing to share that. That's been extremely useful, because I know we've got a lot of good guys back in California working for us. But not all of them are super fluent in English, so I'll ask them questions about how does this process go, or what, when I was starting out, I was trying to understand their processes so I can kind of build them into the ones that we were establishing. And it's difficult to communicate some of the smaller things because I don't speak Spanish. I need to learn, honestly.
Good thing you took French in high school.
That was honestly the biggest challenge, is just finding out information from people that it's difficult to communicate with. But that also those experiences let me establish better processes for communicating with clients. Because it's like, I need to simplify this. I need to make sure that this is able to be understood by everybody I'm talking to. And it's, it was really good to have them there as little as I was able to understand. Because then I could go to Ted and be like, hey, one of our guys, George or Alberto, told me that this, they do 6 to 10 passes with 220, and it's to cut off these grits. And I'll be like, yeah, that's a good process. And how many diamonds using? Oh, they use 4 to 5. Like, no, just use 3. It'll take you, maybe
less
2 or 3 passes less, and it'll cut faster. And I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I started doing that, and that's become our process. And we established that over the entire company. And we get, I think we get beautiful work. I really enjoy delivering that kind of work too.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I know a lot of the times we'll start with 400 on floors if it's not in a bad area. Everywhere I just like to do 120. Because if I see something, I know clients won't spot some things. There'll be a little tiny scratch that blends perfectly into the shine. I'll just cut it down because mentally I'll be looking at it that's going to bother me.
Right.
I think that's a lot of the reason that I like granite repairs too and anti-etch, because you get a lot of control. Like with granite, it's a single-man job. You get to hop on. It's just your work. So you get to make all the decisions on that. And then with the anti-etch, I mean, you're applying an acrylic. So it's a process that we've tested and we've honed and we've perfected. And it's pretty routine now. Like it's something we're really good at. But it still gives you a lot of creative control over how it's applied. Different marbles take it differently. So like black marbles and brown limestones, there's a lot of like lighting concerns there that change the processes just slightly, that add a lot of variability to the jobs that you don't really get on floors.
It extends the polishing process on darker materials too, because you have to do a lot more.
Light's harder.
Thing. Right.
So just having like the guys at the back of the network, being able to call them and you know, somebody's worked on this material versus this material, you can call them up and be like, hey, how did you do this? And they'll respond.
Yeah.
Like having that, I really enjoy that. It makes everybody's lives easier, but it's good to have maybe not a safety net.
Well, it makes you able to predict your results and be 100% confident in telling a client that I can do that, and it's going to look beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we sell.
Yeah.
We sell beauty. We sell aesthetics.
It's
at the end of the day,
I mean,
it's all
anti-etch has
cosmetic.
the etch-free guarantee, but
but there's a structural component to it. You know, with the etch-free guarantee, there's a structural component to granite repair, but like there's a difference between just gluing something together with a glue and actually gluing something together and making it look as good as it can possibly look.
Yeah.
So when a customer walks up to it, they see a vein, or they see that maybe they don't see it at all. Sometimes, like with lighter materials, you can see a little bit, but they're comfortable and happy with their results, and their countertop is going to last for years.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're trying to do, is sell peace of mind. You know, all stone restoration companies, anti-etch applicators, and granite repair, that's what they're doing. They're selling peace of mind, as long as they're doing it right.
I like to think that I am.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I've done a couple of repairs recently that on white, like the brighter materials, that clients have really enjoyed, and those have really been the first. Like we played with a lot of different acrylics, and I used to color match everything. I'd mix glacier, like 2-part, and I'd do the color as good as possible. And I used to mix like 4 different batches of color, and then I'd toss 3 of them out because I just wanted the one, or I'd keep like one for at the end,
like
just pitting out
and
blending it. The processes that we're using now, the Tempax, I think it is. I mean, just being able to eject it and then sand that flush and have it basically blend in,
Almost
not perfectly,
perfect.
but it's almost identical to a vein. And like you'll have clients come up and it'll kind of blow their minds, and you visibly see the relief in their face, like, oh my god. Sometimes they're nervous about the process, like, I'm going to spend this much money, I could just put this or this in there, but it's like the second they see it and see it come together, and you show them the rod. Whenever I cut the rod out, I'll show them the rod and say, hey, you want to keep this? You want to?
Yeah.
They're usually like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You can trash that. But just being able to show them that you're solving their problem, and they feel the trust there, and like you're able to establish good relationships with them. I really enjoy like getting that kind of giving that kind of service, and seeing that satisfaction and seeing that relief. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, but
All right.
I mean, I guess if you need any work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, give me a call.
How can they find you?
You can find me at Sureshine Cares. I think it's Sureshine Cares DFW/DFW, or if you call the Sureshine Service Network and you're in the Dallas area.
Sureshine Service Network. You're listed on the Sureshine Service Network, right? .com.
Yes.
SureshineServiceNetwork.com. Also listed at SureshineCares.com in Dallas-Fort Worth. And if there's any questions or you want to get a hold of Preston specifically, the best way to get a hold of him is through the SureshineServiceNetwork.com.
Here's my address as well, if you need to send me a pigeon or something.
Yeah. Want to put your cell phone on there? Yeah.
It's my IP address.
You have an email address?
Preston at SureshineCares.com. Preston at SureshineCares.com.
At SureshineCares.com. If you have any photos, if you want a granite repair and you want to get a hold of Preston specifically to bypass the office, send photos to him at Preston at SureshineCares.com, and make sure you include your personal information, your name and phone number, and he'll get back to you with with the process.
Even if it's on like maintenance quests too, like we do a lot of
Anything.
granite people that have like small little oil stains they want to get out. If you
Floor
have questions on
restoration,
anything, yeah,
anti-etch.
I'm always willing to help.
He's here to help. Thank you. Thank you for being